today I've decided to talk about getting back into work when you have anxiety. So I went to college for a few months and I really loved college, but I had to leave because my anxiety was way too bad and I was just very, very ill at the time, so I had to leave college. Between that time there was about maybe a year, 6 months to a year, where I didn't do anything. Like I didn't have a job, or I didn't go to college, or I didn't have school or any kind of like responsibilities like that. I just was focusing on getting better and I was very, very unwell and I couldn't really have a job. But then I got to the point where I was like, okay, I'm still very, very unwell, but I want to do something. I want to get back into work. I want to do something with my life. I want to do something productive that I enjoy and also that I feel like is a responsibility and quite a big thing. I know a lot of you might be in a similar position to that. Some of you might be watching and you could be in a position where you don't really know what you're going to do. You feel like your anxiety makes it difficult for you to have a job or to do big things like uni or college or work. And I know exactly how you feel, and I know exactly how I kind of got out of that. And now I have a job that's like 3 or 4 days a week, like 20 hours a week or something like that, and I'm getting paid and I'm loving it. And although sometimes I feel stressed when I know I'm doing a lot of shifts that week, I know I can do it and I know that it'll be fine. And honestly, this time, like a year ago or something, there was no way, there was absolutely no way that I'd be able to have a job. And it's all about taking steps to prepare yourself for work. Not jumping in at the deep end. Basically I'm going to tell you how I managed to get a job after not having a job for so long, and how I managed to get a job with anxiety. So the first thing before you get a job, before you do anything like that, is you need to ask yourself if you're ready. This is a difficult question because at the time that I was starting to get jobs and stuff, I didn't think I was ready at all. I thought that I was really unwell and that I couldn't get a job and like there was no way I could hold down any kind of responsibility. The key to knowing whether you're ready is if you want to do it. Do you want to do it? Do you want to have some kind of job or job-like thing, volunteering, or do you want to do something like that? If the answer is yes, then you're ready. If the answer is no, then you're not ready. Don't let somebody pressure you into making you feel like you have to do something like this. If you want to do something like this but you're just anxious, then it's a perfect opportunity to start. I started off by volunteering in a charity shop, which I absolutely loved and I was really sad to say goodbye to, but I was extremely nervous before I started. I remember I walked along to the charity shops, which are like maybe like 15-minute walk away, and I was shitting myself. I was so scared just of loads of things. I was really, really scared and I wasn't wanting to do it at all. But I walked in and just said, "Hi, can I get a job?" And they were like, "Yeah, when do you want to start?" And I was like, "Tuesday." And they were like, "Okay, what time?" And I was like, 12, and they were like, "Okay." So I didn't think I was ready, but I was ready. Now looking back on it, I definitely was ready. And sometimes it's just about taking that leap into just walking into a charity shop and saying, "Hi, can I get a job?" That's the first thing you need to do. So I'm going to talk a little bit about working in a charity shop, because I absolutely loved working in a charity shop. I was lucky and I worked with some really great people. You do get to meet some really interesting people when you volunteer in a charity shop, because obviously there are lots of different people that volunteer. There are people that are retired that volunteer, there's people that are working on their CVs, like young people, and there's people that can't get a job for whatever reason. Maybe they're unwell, maybe I don't know why they wouldn't have a job, but there's plenty of reasons why somebody would not want to work, but that would want to volunteer and do something with their time. So charity shops are really interesting for that, but I thought I'd give you a little insight into what kind of things you'll be doing in the charity shop, because I know with anxiety, knowing what you're doing before you're doing it and knowing what kind of things you're going to be expected to do can make you feel better. The more you know about something, the easier it is to digest in your head. So some of the jobs that somebody might expect you to do when you're working in a charity shop is basically you get lots and lots of bags in per day, from the public, from the company. I worked for Bernardo's, so Bernardo's people would bring us lots of stuff, and basically we would go through the bags and see if there was things that were not worth saving. So there's a lot of things that are kind of rubbish clothes and stuff like that we'd put in the bin, and then there's lots of clothes that were fine and that would sell on. So that's kind of the main job I think you'll probably be expected to do, is kind of look through things and see what clothes you think will sell. Also steaming clothes, so it's basically like a big iron. You'll kind of steam these clothes. You'll probably be making lots of cups of tea and drinking lots of tea. You'll have to like organise the shop and put out new clothes and take off new clothes and put out new like bric-a-brac and books and organise books and organise DVDs and CDs and toys and stuff like that. Also another thing that I did was I served customers on the till, which I loved because I don't, like I said before, I don't have social anxiety. so that kind of thing doesn't bother me. But also, if you're somebody that does have social anxiety and you'd find working on a till too stressful, you don't have to do it. This isn't like a job, this is a voluntary job where everything that you do is completely like, nothing's expected, you don't have to do anything you don't want to do. They'll be grateful that you've joined their team, they'll be grateful that you're putting in any kind of hours. Don't feel like that you have to do something. If there's something you don't want to do, you don't have to do it. It's not, you're not getting paid to like do a specific job, so you just chill and you just do whatever it is that you feel comfortable doing. The best thing about a voluntary job is there's absolutely no pressure. So if you decide to work there one day a week and for a couple of weeks you decide that you're too anxious to do it, you don't have to do it, and then you can go back in a couple of weeks. There's no expectancy for you to do it. It's completely very flexible, no pressure whatsoever. Also, if you're in the charity shop and you have been working, and say you're working a 3-hour shift or something, and you get there and you have to go home, you have to go home, and there's no pressure for you to stay at all. I think that was why I flourished and thrived so much working in a charity shop, is because when I know that I don't have to be there, then I am a lot less stressed. So if I know I have to be in this room and I have to stay here, then I would have been really, really stressed out. But yeah, you don't have to do that at all. Also, on a plus side, it'll also look very good in your CV. So if you're somebody that your anxiety or mental health or anything has stopped you from working for a while, it'll look really good on your CV that you have done some volunteering between things. So you've not just been not doing much, you've actually been volunteering and stuff, so it'll look really great on your CV. And it's a really great way to get into the workplace in a really non-pressured but work-like environment. It does feel like you're at work and it is very worky, but at the same time it's so relaxed and no pressure whatsoever. And most of the time, well, from my experience, all the people that I worked with were really nice and really funny, and they all had really interesting stories of why they were working there. So it was a great time. So if that's something that you feel like you're ready to do, that's a great first step. Moving on to actual work. So I was lucky because I just happened to be talking to somebody that I know, and I said, I feel like I'm at the point where I'm ready with my anxiety to get a job, but I don't know how to go about it. I want a job that's not too stressful. And the person I was working with said, why don't you work here at the place that I work? So now I work in a pub, which is a pub that a lot of my friends work in, so a lot of them know about my anxiety, and I haven't had one panic attack there. I've been working there for 2.5 months and I haven't had one panic attack, one anxious moment. I've been absolutely fine. I think once you've worked in a charity shop, I worked there for about 6 months in a charity shop, and I became very familiar with work-like things and how it worked and stuff like that. So I was very confident at this point and thought, if I can work here. I was working there at that point 2 times a week, I think, both like 5-6 hour shifts, so I was doing quite a lot of work. At that point it was just really lucky that my friend said that I could work with the place that she works, but there's lots and lots of different ways you can go about this. So if you are at the point where you've left the charity shop and you're kind of like, that's a chapter that's closed in my life, the next chapter is looking for something that's slightly more responsibility, that's more work-like, that you're getting paid for, but nothing that's extreme. You don't want to start working in a business where it's really fast-paced. My job is quite fast-paced, but it's also quite relaxed and quite flexible. So that's the kind of thing you want to go into. Maybe something that's near that place, maybe another charity shop, but paid charity shop job, like a manager's role or assistant manager's role. Maybe you want to start working in retail, because working in a charity shop is retail experience. You're working in retail. So start working in kind of Topshop or H&M or a retail-like place. Working in a restaurant, they can be quite fast-paced, but again, quite flexible depending on where you go. I think you should, when you're looking for a new job, look for something that's quite similar to the charity shop, so it's not a massive jump, it's not like a massive complete change of like experience. So the first thing that I'd suggest for when you start work is be honest with your employer. My employer knows me, they've known me for quite a long time. They've known me for years actually, but they've obviously only just started to know me as an employee. But they know that I have anxiety. All my people that I work with, all my colleagues, all know that I have anxiety, and they all know that sometimes I might have to leave, sometimes I might have to take a day off, sometimes I might have to just go out for 5 minutes and just calm down and have a bit of fresh air. That's just that. I feel so much more comfortable knowing that if I have to go outside, I don't need to explain to people why I'm going outside. People will just know she's having a bit of an anxious moment, and people will know exactly what's going on. I don't have to explain it. I don't have to be in a situation where it's awkward and I have to like try and explain what's going on. I'm just honest with people, and I always have been and always will be with my anxiety. So I think being honest with people is puts a lot less pressure on you. But again, if you don't fancy telling people if you want to start fresh, that's also up to you. It's also a great idea. Remember, even though you are in a job that you're getting paid for or whatever, it's still no pressure. You still don't have to be there. Nobody is like making you do that. It's completely up to you. If you don't think you're ready for that, then don't do it. It is entirely up to you. But remember, you can leave at any point. You can quit at any point. You can decide to leave at any point. There's still no pressure. Although you feel more responsibility because somebody's paying you to do it and you have responsibility for your team that you're working with, there's still no pressure for you to be there. You don't have to do anything that you don't want to do or that makes you anxious or makes you feel uncomfortable. It is 100% up to you. Nobody else knows what it's like to suffer with your kind of anxiety. You have to make this decision for yourself, but you have to be very, very kind to yourself and let yourself lead the way. And your mind and your body will tell you when you're ready for certain things. And just go with it. Take risks. Just push yourself and take risks and see where you end up. You might end up 3 steps backwards, you might end up 3 steps forward, but you will get there. You will get there in time. So I just thought I'd make this video because I know it's like to kind of be in that position in life where you're like, what am I doing? My anxiety is kind of ruling my life. I know what that's like. You just need to take baby steps and hopefully you'll all get there. I know you will, because I know if I can get through that, if I can work, anybody with anxiety can work. Trust me. Thank you so much for watching this video and good luck to everybody that's hoping to get into the workplace soon, and I'll see you soon. Bye!